Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Moran and you are on Moran Arcana Readings, and this is going to be a pick a pile reading. So you have the choice between these little angel crystals that is very beautiful. You have I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it's sparkling a little bit. I'm not too sure what crystal it is anymore, but it's very cute. And we have this deck, which is kind of redrawing and re-edition of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, and this is done by Jamie Sawyer. Then we have this little alien that is doing some yoga. Again, I'm not too sure what crystal this is, but you have the choice of this crystal here, and here we have the galactic tarot, which is, all alien galactic type of images. And then finally we have the Merkaba, the amethyst Merkaba here, and we have the Journeys tarot, which is more this type of art style. So this is the choice you have between these three decks. Then obviously you have oracle decks on the side as always to kind of like conclude the reading, and you will have three different cards from these three different oracle decks. But I would advise you to maybe pause the video and take a deep breath to see which deck you are most attracted to, whether it's the little crystal that you're attracted to, or maybe the images. Also, if you're attracted by two tarots and not by one, you can watch the two readings. It may be that there's one particular message for one of the reading and another message that is also concerning your life in another reading. So there's no rules of like you only have to pick one. If you feel drawn to only one, that's perfect, but if you feel drawn to two, it's also fine, and you can watch the two. And if you want to watch the three, you can also watch the three. But yeah, so we'll do that, and I'll see you in your readings. So, if you've chosen the little angel and this deck, this is going to be your reading. Before we start, I want to clean the space with some sounds. So if you hear three little sounds, and if you're sensible to sounds, you can either pass to the reading, or you can, skip to the reading, or you can just remove or put down the sound. But I will do three little sound just to clear the space and call in spirits. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna go ahead with the reading. So while I shuffle the cards, if you can think of your situation, anything that you want to know, anything that you want to, answers to be clarified, and we'll go ahead with the reading. I will do one column that will be for what has passed, so what is past you, and what, the challenges maybe that you've passed, or anything like this, the present and the future. So what's coming to you, what kind of energy is coming to you, and also what kind of energy you are currently in. But yeah, I will shuffle the deck three times and then I will cut it in three. And if you can think of your situation while I shuffle the cards, and then we'll go ahead with the reading. Okay, so as you could see, there is a card that popped up here. So I'm not including it in the reading, but this is already a good sign. It's the Ten of Cups, sorry, which is one of the best card of the deck. It's speaking about all your wish being granted. Everything that you want is coming to fruition. There's a lot of joy and happiness, especially emotionally. So all the families are happy. Everyone in the family is happy. It's very feeling like, the end of the movie when everyone is happy and everything is good, and it's a good end of the story. So it's basically a very good card. So it just wanted to pop out. So if you've chosen this deck, it's already a good sign. Hopefully it will be a good reading, but with this card, I have no reason to think otherwise. I just put it here so we have it, but this is not going to be part of the reading. So now we're gonna go ahead with the reading. Okay, so in the past you have the High Priestess, then you have the Judgment, and then you have the Eight of Wands. So in the past, it feels like you had to listen to your intuition. Something fell off, something felt off, sorry, not fell off, something felt off. You were feeling that maybe you were not living the life that you were meant to be living. Something happened, and it's almost like you got messages coming from your intuition, your gut feeling. So it could be related to maybe a job that you felt like was becoming a bit toxic, maybe a house where you felt like it's not the house for you anymore, you need to move, or maybe it's a toxic relationship, anything like this. But I feel like you listened to your intuition, or at least I feel like it's almost like you've been forced to listen to your intuition, because you felt like something was off, but you were kind of like, no, it's okay, I'm gonna keep going. But I feel like you've been a little bit forced. The message kept coming through, whether it's through situations, people repeating it to you, being in situations where you're like, oh my God, it's happening again, it's happening again, and you have like had to listen basically. You have the Judgment as well. So the Judgment means that you also had a moment of where you reevaluated your life completely. And that's why I feel like these two are kind of connected, because you kind of had to reevaluate your life completely and change things in your life, because the life that you were living was not you anymore. Okay, it was not a version of you that you wanted anymore. So there was some kind of also aspects of, I have to say it has aspects of fear, a little bit of a bit of fear, because you knew you had to do something, you knew that the situations you were in was not good enough, but you felt like you were maybe not ready to go to the next step. But that's why I feel like there was an aspect of you feeling forced, and it's not forced like in a negative way, it's forced like by the universe really pushing you to listen to your intuition, to realize that yes, you are correct, the things that you are living are not the best for you, and you need to evaluate your life, you need to change your direction, and really listen to the calling and listen to your intuition. This is like the universe sending you sign and calling you, and with a trumpet, and you can hear it, but you didn't answer the call. And I feel like there was a time in the recent past where you had no choice but to answer the call, and you had to reevaluate your life completely. And it feels like it was for the best, because I told you we had this card that just popped out of the deck when I was shuffling, so it's a good sign. And then you have the Eight of Wands, so it's a card of movement. So I feel like whatever happened there happened very fast. It happened almost from a day to another. Maybe not the realization of realizing that you're not in the best situation and you need to change your life. But I feel like as soon as you realized it and you answered the call, everything started to move very, very fast. It's a card of movement. It's a card that says that you receive some kind of news, you uncover a truth, you receive some kind of messages, an email, a phone call, whatever it can be, and it could be the call from the universe as well. But as soon as this call happen, things are moving fast. Things are flying. These ones are all flying in the same direction, but they are flying in the sky. And that's basically the message of this card, is like things are happening very fast, things are flying. And because I don't know if you can see, but there's the planet Mercury here, so it's definitely related to something, some kind of news, some kind of message that you receive. Mercury is the planet of communication, so there's an aspect of you receiving some kind of communication through someone, or maybe through your intuition, through your experience, that said, okay, it's time now to move on. We're gonna answer the call and we're gonna move on. But yeah, things happened quite fast. So that's for the past. For the present, we have the lovers here. So we have the two lovers, and the lovers speaks about, before I go into the lovers, you also have the Eight of Swords and the Five of Wands. So the lovers speaks about having to make a choice. Yes, it speaks about love as well. So it could be related to, a love relationship. It could be, but it speaks also about. I'm trying to be cautious of, nudity on YouTube, even if it's drawings. Um, yeah, it's about a choice. It's about a very important and big decisions that you have. Sorry, you had or you have to make, because it's in the present. I feel like you're still in this moment in between situations, in between your present, your past and your present, or your past and your future, and you have to make a decision. So whether it's, quitting this job, moving a house, quitting this relationship, it's not gonna be easy. It's going to be very difficult decision, but you have to make a decision. This is a decision where, as soon as you're not taking a decision, you will stay in the same position. And again, it's the representation of the Gemini sign, which is ruled by Mercury, and Geminis are known to be, the communicators of the zodiac. So it's again a card that speaks about, maybe there's some communication that needs to happen for you to move on to the next chapter, I would say, of your life. But there's also this communication of, like, you received some kind of communication, you received some kind of letter, email, phone call, whatever it can be, that is propulsing you to change your life, the direction of your life. Now we have the Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords speaks about you feeling trapped, but it's an illusion. You're not really trapped. So maybe you answered the call, you understand what you need to do, you understand you need to leave a certain situation. And I think, like, having this knowing is bringing you peace, and is bringing you comfort, and is bringing you joy and happiness, knowing that you can hear the call, and you know that you have to do something different. But at the minute, you still feel trapped in between two worlds. But this person is not trapped. You can see that the swords around her are not, they are not circling her. She could easily move forward. And also these things, like the things that is, attached to her eyes, and kind of like wrapping her body, it's just like very easy to remove. It's not even holding her very tight, so she could easily remove this, easily remove the blind on her eyes, and see that the swords are nothing to be afraid of, and just move on to the next stage. Okay, so that's a little bit the aspects, the message of this card is to say, like, don't think about you know don't think about the things that could go wrong, and don't let your mind trap you. Don't overthink things, because if you overthink, you're gonna feel trapped, but you are not trapped. Look around. You can easily move away from your situation. And again, it's a card of Gemini, so Gemini appears twice in here on the present. So maybe you're a Gemini yourself, but it's still, again, speaking about communication. So there's an aspect of you that also maybe has to communicate the fact that you need to move away from the situation that you are in. And then we have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands speaks about competition, but I feel like for this row, and because of the situation that we have here, it's more a message of fighting within yourself, and finding the strength to fight with the parts of you that want to trap you, and the fear that you feel like, oh yeah, I can't do this, because what if this happened? Let's say, for example, you want to change job. Maybe you'll be like, oh no, I can't change job, because uh, what if my other job is worse than this, or what if I happen to make less money? What if, what if, And there's a lot of what ifs happening in your head. But if you think like this, you will never be able to do anything. And instead of thinking about like the what if in a negative way, why not think about them as a positive way? So what if, yes, you move this job and it's actually better paid, or you get a lot more rewards? What if you leave this relationship and it's actually good for you? Which, again, any situation for me that you will, as long as you answer the call, is for the best. um, but yeah, it's more. So this is more a card that speak about competition within yourself. So it's a little bit more like challenging yourself to do things differently, and to dare to be a little bit, bold and different, and maybe step out of a situation that everyone, thought that you were happy in, but actually you're not. It's a little bit like challenging yourself to come out of, the expectations of people, because maybe, again, it's a job that you've been there forever, or maybe it's a job that you studied for, years and years and years, and you just started but you realize that you don't like it. And people will be expecting you to enjoy it because you've studied for years, but maybe it's not for you, and you just realizing this, and now you're a little bit scared to announce to people that, yeah, I've spent 5 years studying this, but I don't like it. But that's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But there's a little bit of you having to challenge yourself to accept it, and then to challenge yourself to say it to other people. Communication, again, maybe there's a need for you to say it out loud. But yeah, that's for the present. And then for the future, we have very good cards. So we have the Empress, we have the Four of Pentacles, and we have the Fool. So the Empress is a card that speaks about you. It speaks about two things. So it speaks about you creating something. It's the card of creation. It's the card of, like, the mother giving birth to someone. It's the card of Gaia, so the representation of Gaia as well. And yeah, it's a card that speaks about creation. So there is an aspect of you giving birth to something. So maybe it's an idea, maybe it's a business, or maybe it's a new version of you that you've waited forever to come out. Okay, so this is a very good card. It's also a card that speaks about you having to take care of yourself a little bit more, take care of your femininity, choosing you instead of choosing others. So it's a card that says that you are going to be in this abundant and nice position of being able to take care of yourself. And it's actually an advice that there's a need for you to take care of yourself now. Okay, choose you instead of choosing others. And it's also a card that says that maybe there is a need for you to connect a little bit more with nature, or go in walks in nature, and all the things like this, connecting a little bit more with simpler things. And it's just to really reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your femininity. We have Venus here, that is the card of, the femininity. And it's also a card of emotions, creations, creativity, letting creativity express itself. So it's a very good card for this expression as well. But you can see, there's the pomegranate here, so on her dress, which is also, I don't know if it's a pomegranate, but it's a fruit, which to me represents also abundance. So there's an abundance somehow that is also coming for you in the future. And it looks like the sun being represented in this flower in the middle, which again is a very good card. The sun in tarot is the best card, is one of the best actually. Um, so yeah, there's also, like, here, the crops are, all ready to be harvested. So there's a lot of abundance in this card, but I feel like you will reach this abundance if you choose yourself instead of choosing others for once. Then we have the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles, in this sense, in this message, is a card that speaks about you having to be careful not to, how can I say, not to hold on to old patterns and old beliefs. Okay, you have changed. You have changed your life with this card. There's definitely reevaluation of your life. We can see here that there is big decisions that are needed to be made, and it's decisions that are going to change your life, and you need to let go of the past, let go of what was, because it's not you anymore. Okay, it's also a card that can speak about abundance. When you reach this abundance, to make sure that you're not too, holding too tight onto it because you're afraid of losing it. So it's just also, if you reach this level of abundance, don't hesitate to be able to share your rewards, your money, your time, your energy, because abundance could be anything, with others. Okay, don't hold everything all to yourself just because you're so afraid of losing it. But it's also a card that says, like, don't hold on to beliefs because you don't know anything else, and now you're entering a new chapter. You need to let go of your old beliefs, the old patterns, the old way of you doing things, and you need to experience new things. And again, we have the sun here representing in this flower. So it's a good card overall. It's just a little bit of an advice not to hold on too tight on things. And finally, we have the Fool. And the Fool, again, we can see the sun. So there's a lot of, sun still in your reading. You have the sun here with the lovers. You have the sun. To me, it's not, it represents the sun here, or at least it's the colors. You have the sun symbol here, and you have the sun here again, and you have the Fool. So the Fool is one of the best cards of the deck as well. Is a new beginning, a new start, starting something new, starting a new adventure, being a little bit like carefree, being a little bit like having this youth energy of wanting to move forward and starting a new adventure. So it's a very good card, because it means that there's a chapter that is currently being closed, and you are going to start a new adventure. So whether it's a new job, a new relationship, or maybe moving to a new house, it can be all of this. And usually this little dog is a representation of a kind of a warning. The little dog is trying to warn the fool to be careful of, the cliff there. But I think, like, this is more a representation of this card that I told you. Be careful not to hold on to your old beliefs, all old patterns, all these kind of things, because you need to let go of this to be able to start your new adventure. And when you start your new adventure, you can see this fool is just having one bag, one flower, and that's it. There's nothing else. And this is what the meaning of this card is. It's like we start a new adventure with nothing. We don't know anything. We don't know what's waiting for us, but it's still exciting and it's still good, and we want to do it. So don't hold on to your beliefs because you don't need it for where you're going. Okay. And finally, I just want to mention the crown that you can see on his head with a feather. It's also kind of like representing, like, adventure and also victory. So there's an aspect also of victory in this new beginning, this new adventure. So yes, that was the tarot reading for you guys. Now I'm going to use some oracle cards for you. So we have a message from, a little bit like, it's life and work. So I will pull one or two cards depending on what's coming out, because it's a bit tricky, this deck. It can be just life, but it can also be very work focused. So I try to sometimes find the balance and pull one or two cards, so we have an advice for each area of our life, kind of. So I will do that. Then I have a message from the angels. I will ask you to just think about a question and see what the answer is coming. And then we have a message from the animals. But while I shuffle the cards, think again of your situation. And if you like this reading so far, please remember to like. It's free. Comment. It's free as well, but it takes a little bit more energy than liking. And yeah, subscribe if you can, and if you want. Again, it's free. Everything is free, but it helps me a lot grow, and it helps the channel grow and reach more people that could potentially be helped by this message. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what this deck has to say. So again, I will shuffle 3 times again, and I will cut the pile in 3 like I always do, and then we'll go ahead and see what we have. So depending on the first card that I have, I might pull another one if I feel like we don't have necessarily the message that we were expecting, or you know it's just too focused on one aspect in particular, but we'll see. And we have trapped. Well, you see, I don't think I need any more, but I might pull another one because that's what I told you with the Eight of Swords. And it says trapped. You feel stuck in your current situation, but you do have options. Look for another job while keeping the one you have for now. So it's kind of like job focused, but obviously it can be applied to any situation. But the message is that you feel trapped, but it's just an illusion. Okay, it's an illusion in your head. You're not very trapped. You need to find different ways of doing things. Maybe again, you need to make a big decision about where you want to go in order for you to feel a little bit not trapped. I want to come back to this as well because this is part of the reading, but everything that is going to happen is going to lead to joy and happiness. I will pull another card just to see if we can get away a little bit from work related stuff, but let's have a look. And we have gestures. You may be asked to help someone out, or you may need a hand. Give deserved praise to others and you will receive recognition too. So yeah, maybe there's some kind of like you having to ask for help as well in order to be able to get away from your situation, and that could be the the message here with the trapped. Look at other ways to do things. Maybe you've never thought about like wanting to ask help to anyone to help you, but it's very good to ask for help. You know, sometimes we are too trapped in our head again, thinking I'm not gonna bother this person with my problems. But some people are just waiting for you to ask them for help. They can see you struggling and they don't want, to be condescending, or they don't want to, if you don't ask, they're not gonna be like, well, maybe she's dealing with it on her own and she's happy like this, but I wish I could help her, but she's never asked. And you will be surprised to see how many people are willing to help you when you ask for help. So I would advise you to ask for help if you're feeling stuck and you feel like there's no way. But again, think outside of your mind. I mean, that doesn't make sense, but don't stay trapped in this energy of like feeling like there's no solution. There are solutions available. You just need to look in at the situation in a different way. So now I'm going to ask you to think about a question that you have, and I will pull a card from this. It's in French, but I will translate, don't worry. And it will let you know the answer to this question. Yes, no, maybe it's not the right time. You need to look at other ways, blah, blah, blah. This is different messages. But let's have a look at what the angels have to say. Again, I'm shuffling 3 times and I'm cutting the pile in 3. Okay, and the answer is if you believe. So, whatever your question was, the answer is if you believe. So, if you believe that you can escape this situation, for example, you will. But there's a need for you to believe that you can do it. You're not trapped. And finally, I will pull a card from the animals and we'll see what animals have to say to you. It's also maybe if you see this animal on TV, on Facebook while you're scrolling, on Instagram, on a drawing, maybe, like one of your niece or nephew is making a drawing of this animal in particular. It's just a sign to come back to this reading. And when I say come back, I mean come back mentally to this reading, remember what I said, and remember what the cards have said to you. And let's have a look at what the message is. And we have hummingbird spirit. So hummingbird spirit, and it says be here now. So again, don't be trapped in your head. Don't think about the past. Don't hold on too much on the past. Don't think too much and worry too much about the future, like what if I do this, I might not be able to do this or that. Be here now. So stay in the present and think about what you can fix now, how you can fix your situation now, so you can move on. Okay, step by step. I always say, like, the present is the most amazing and the most important, sorry, time to be in. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example, but if I ask you now to think about when you were 10 years old, okay, I'm asking you to think that you're gonna have some memories. Yes, sure, but where are you? You're still here with me watching this video. You're still in the present. The same for the future. If I ask you to think about your future and what you want to do, you're gonna have visions of what you want to achieve in the future. Yes, fair enough. But where are you when you're thinking about this? You're still here with me watching this video, which means that the present is the most important time to be. And be here now. You need to understand how to fix your situation now, instead of worrying about, the future and thinking too much about the past, maybe what's failed, whatever. Let go of the past. Don't think too much about the future. Stay in the present and be here now. So that was the reading for you people that have chosen this little angel. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did, please remember again to like, comment, subscribe. It's free, but it helps the channel grow. And comment, because I like to know how it resonates with you, and we can engage a conversation, and you can let me know, yes, it resonates, no, it doesn't. If it doesn't, I hope you're not taking this reading, but with you, I mean, because if it doesn't resonate, it means that it was not for you. But if it resonates, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Hello, so if you've chosen the little alien that is doing some yoga, this is going to be your reading. So we have this deck here. Before we start though, I will do three little sounds just to clear the space and to call in spirit. So if you're sensible to sounds, I would advise you to either skip or put the volume down a little bit. But yeah, I'll go ahead and do these three little sounds. Okay, perfect. So I will shuffle the deck 3 times, and then I will cut the pile 3 times, and we'll go ahead with the reading. There will be a column for past, present, future, and then obviously some oracle decks that I will use also at the end. A message from the animals, a message that is from an oracle that is more related to work/life, and then a message from the angels, which I will ask you to think of a question, and the answer will come out from the angels. But yeah, while I shuffle the deck, if you can think of your situation, what you want to know, the answers that you want to know, and then we'll go ahead with the reading. So let's go ahead and see what the cards have to say for you. Okay, so for the past, you have the Three of Swords, then you have the King of Swords, and you have the Page of Cups. So the Three of Swords speaks about some kind of heartbreak that happened to you. So it could be a relationship, it could be a project that was not concluent, it could be a friendship that you lost, it could be a job that you lost, anything like this. But it's a card that is quite difficult, to be honest, and you can see the heart is shattered. So it's really the meaning of the card is the heart is shattered, and it's a difficult card. So there's some kind of event that happened in a recent past where you felt like your heart was shattered. And I can see that you're slowly recovering in the present. I can see that. But yeah, there's something that happened that was quite difficult, that required, it's almost like three souls, entered your heart. That's the image. And the goal is to remove all the souls and feel better. But yeah, there's some kind of like thing that happened that was quite difficult. It was quite a difficult situation, and it could be involving two different people, because you have the King of Swords and the Page of Cups. So it could be related to, someone older and then someone younger. So it could be you younger or you older, or there's some kind of dynamic here of someone older and someone younger. So again, it could be the loss of a friendship, the loss of someone maybe older than you, but it could also represent something else. So I will let you know the other message. So with the King of Swords, it could be representing that there is something happened in a sense that you had to put boundaries. You had to put clear boundaries. You had to be, firm, and you had to be very a little bit cold. Because maybe someone betrayed you and you found out about this betrayal, and then you had to make decisions basically. You had to make decisions about having to cut off maybe some people from your life because they betrayed you, and it was not easy. It was a difficult decision, but you may have had to do that. So that's the energy of the King of Swords. The King of Swords is very fair, is very just, it's very is looking for justice all the time. Okay, and sometimes he can appear a bit cold because he's not using his heart, he's using his logic, and he's using the facts in order to make decisions. So maybe there's something that happened, a betrayal of some kind, a heartbreak of some kind, that had you make decisions that were a little bit hard as well. So maybe there was one sword is the betrayal, and then the next sword is, having to put boundaries, and then the next sword is, the grief of all of it, all the relationships, maybe anything like this. So it could also represent this, or if not, it represents someone that was the reason of this heartbreak. And then we have the Page of Cups. So I feel like the Page of Cups could represent in this position again. It could represent again someone that, there was some kind of dynamic where it could be you, it could be someone else, but there's some kind of heartbreak between two people. So it could be that. But the Page of Cups is usually also a card of like new beginning and dreams, and thinking like, if pigs fly, and pigs will fly. It's this belief that we can attain everything that we want. And I feel like that's what I feel like it's giving me this energy as well of like there was so much belief in this thing. So it could be a relationship, it could be a friendship, it could be a project. There was so much you believing in this thing that it feels like it was shattered by a betrayal. Okay, because this card speaks about like believing that pigs will fly, and having a creative mind, and believing that everything is going to be working fine, and having the imagination to visualize the future, of like when we reach this level of like, I don't know, this business creation or whatever, it will all work out. And I think like this has been shattered. There's also the black and white here. So again, I think like there's this dynamic of like good things happen and then bad things happen, and I think like that's what's happened in the recent past. There was like some kind of like, it's normal in the universe, everything needs to be balanced. So there needs to be bad and good, but I feel like what the bad that happened shattered your heart and broke you, and it was very hard. It was a hard betrayal because of the good that you lost because of it. Okay, so yeah, there's this energy there as well. Next row for the presents, we have the Six of Cups. So again, that speaks about the past, this, and then we have the Eight of Discs, and then we have the Nine of Cups. So I will speak about the Six of Cups first, and the Six of Cups speaks about two things. So yes, it speaks about the past. So maybe you reminiscing the past. Um, you may like, I feel like these two people could be these two people here. So there's a younger lady and an older brother. It feels like they are brother and sisters. So it could be very specific to someone that maybe you lost your brother, your older brother. It could be very specific to you, this message. So maybe at the minute you're reminiscing the good memories, and it's very good. I would say nostalgia is a very good feeling to feel. It's a very good feeling to be in. The trap with this is to not stay in this feeling for too long. So it's good for you. I want to say do it, but don't stay in this feeling for too long. Whatever you lost, take the time to grieve, obviously. Stay in this nostalgia, reminiscing good memories and all this, because it's good feeling. It makes us feel very good, but don't stay in this feeling forever. You need to move on at some point. But if it's nothing to do with this, because obviously it's a collective reading, so it can have different messages. It's not a one-to-one reading. If it's not this, it's just a message for you to think about what made you happy when you were younger, and to maybe reimplant this in your life. So how can let's say for example, when you were a kid, you loved flowers. Well, how can you bring back flowers into your life now? And even sometimes, how can you make it something that is like a hobby, and then maybe a hobby that becomes a job? If you want to, you don't have to, but it's more like what made you happy when you were a kid that could bring you joy back in your life. Okay. It's a message of this. So it could be both as well. So if you're feeling nostalgic and reminiscing memories, try to also think about the things that you used to do when you were a kid and that made you happy. So let's try to bring this back into our life. Then we have the Eight of Discs, and the Eight of Discs is a card that speaks about work. It speaks about you working hard towards something to make it a reality. Okay, so maybe this project, again, if it's a project, maybe this project that I talked to you about and that you didn't manage to achieve lacked a bit of like details, and now you're working towards it to make it a reality. You haven't given up. Or maybe you changed completely optics, and you thought about like what made you happy and you want to start this, the flower business, as I took as an example. But it's also a card of creation. As you can see, this person is creating a lot, and it's a card of mastery. So it's a card that says like the more you will do the things that you want to achieve, the more you will be the master of it, and then it will become second nature, and it will be very successful, or at least it will bring you joy. But I also feel like because of this, because it's a card of work, I feel like you've been also doing some work within yourself to, maybe grieve the loss of a project or a person or a friendship or whatever it can be. Um, you've been doing the work. So I feel like you've been doing the work as well to heal yourself and to grieve yourself and to, uh, I don't know if grieve yourself is the right way to use the verb, but it's to grieve. You've allowed yourself to grieve, and you're still in a grieving process, I feel, but you're working on it. Okay, you're working on it, and it could also mean that you're working on it by keeping your mind busy, and by keeping your hands busy, and not letting yourself drown in sadness, alone under the covers in your bed. You're just doing something to keep your mind active. And I feel like it could also represent you working, um, maybe, let's say for example, it's gonna be very specific again, but maybe it's something I have to say. If it popped into my mind, this example, is because I have to say it. So maybe, as I said, it's a situation between a brother and a sister. So maybe there's some kind of loss there, and maybe you two had a dream together, and you didn't give up, and you're still building this dream. Yes, now you building it alone, but it's almost like how can I say this? You keeping the memory of this dream alive by working on it. And it looks like it's working because you have the Nine of Cups, and the Nine of Cups is a card of emotional abundance. It's the card of the wish coming true as well. So it's a card that says like your wish are going to be granted, your wish are going to come to fruition. You will have the life that you are dreaming of. But in this sense, it's also a card that is bringing peace, joy, harmony. And this person, you can see this person is very relaxed. They're floating, it's a very relaxed type of energy. So there's these aspects of you feeling very happy and relaxed. And maybe you kind of like start to see the results of your work on yourself, and you feel a little bit more at peace with what happened here. Okay, so it's a very good card to have. It's a card of like peace and happiness and joy and harmony in your life. And for the future, we have the Two of Discs. So the Two of Discs speaks about some kind of balance being restored as well. Some kind of, yeah, a balance being restored. You can see this person is juggling between two things, standing on one leg, but they're not falling in one way or the other. They are in total control. So there's some aspects of some aspects of balance being restored. Okay, it's again, this person is very happy, so I feel like there's this peaceful atmosphere as well. This person doesn't look panicked to juggle between two things. So there's still these aspects of peace. And it's a card that speaks that maybe you will have to deal with two things at the same time, to juggle with two things at the same time. So maybe work and emotion, working on your emotions and maybe working on your actual job, all these kind of things. Or maybe you're trying to escape a job, and you're gonna have to, for a moment, for a while, work your 9 to 5 job and then balance out with creating your own business. And you will do it pretty well. You will be able to juggle between these two things. So that's a good sign. The only thing that this card says, the warning, I would say, or the advice, is to make sure to always keep the things, the same level of attention up until you feel like let's say, for example, you have a 9 to 5 job and then you want to start a new business. Don't put too much energy into one or the other. Put the same amount of energy until you're ready to leave your full-time job, for example, and focus only on, your project. There's gonna be a need for you to be sure that you balance things out in a good way before you can escape or leave your job or change your situation or whatever the case may be. But it's a good card to say that you will be able to do that. So I have no worries here. Then we have the Knight of Discs. So the Knight of Discs is asking us to be patient. So they will need for you to, as much as you work, you expect results, but this card is saying like, no, it's not gonna, not gonna see results straight away. You will need to be patient a little bit. Not because you're doing things in a wrong way, it's just because things take time. And the Knight of Disc is the slowest knight of the tarot. But this knight, if it could speak, if this card could speak, it would say like, wait for me because I'm coming with blessings. So be patient, I'm coming with blessing. Trust me, believe me, you will receive what you want to receive. Your wish will come true, but you just have to be patient. And finally, we have the Ace of Cups, and again, it's a very good card. A card, as you can see, it's abundance. There's water flowing everywhere, so it's abundance, emotional abundance with this card. But you can see some jewels and some crystals are coming down as well. Sorry, the card is, I don't know why it's a bit dirty. I never use this deck pretty much, so I don't know why it's dirty. But anyways, um, yeah, there are some crystals and jewels coming out of this cup. So again, it's a card of abundance, but it's also a card that speaks about you feeling different type of emotions. So you will feel emotions that you've never felt before. And I feel like it could come with, a new kind of adventure, a new project, a new thing that is going to happen in your life. But I feel like you can clearly see there's like a kind of healing happening. So the past was quite rough and difficult, and there's some kind of like dreams or your heart being shattered, and then you're working on it, and now here you have like the full abundance and your heart being fully restored, because the cups is the suit of emotions and heart. So you can see here you have the full cup. You know, the cup is bigger than what you can see here. It's bigger than the 9 cups that you can see here. So I feel like your heart is being fully restored and fully healed. But you need to be patient into your dreams. But it's happening. If your dream, if the thing that you want to manifest is having a healed heart, it will happen. With this card we can see it, but you need to be patient. Maybe you need to allow yourself to accept, you know, that things were and are not anymore. But yes, that was the reading for the tarot reading. So now we're going to pull some oracle cards. So I will start with this deck. I always say, like, I pull 1 or 2 cards depending on what's coming out of this deck, because it's a bit tricky. It speaks about life, but it's also speaking about work. So I'm trying to balance out when, you know, we have something work heavy. I'm trying to get another message for life as well, because it's a collective reading. But yeah, so I will again shuffle the deck 3 times and cut it in three. I just want to say, if you like this video and if it resonates with you so far, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It's all free, and it doesn't cost you any money. Maybe commenting costs you a little bit more energy, so it's maybe not free in terms of energy, but for the rest, you just have one button to push. So like and subscribe and comment if really you have a little bit of spare energy for me, but it helps my channel being seen, grow, and maybe, you know, reach the people that need to see this message. But let's go ahead and see what this deck has to say to you. And we have gestures, and it's the same. The same is funny because it's the same as the previous reading, when you can see the amount of cards there are in this deck. But it says you may be asked to help someone out, or you may need a hand. Give deserved praise to others and you will receive recognition too. So I feel like it's, again, I feel like it's more, maybe you need help to move forward with your life. So don't hesitate to ask help if you need it. Like, if you have, I feel like you don't need help most of the time. You're doing things on your own, which is working for you. But you may have down days, days where you wish you could speak to someone, you wish you could have someone helping you with something, and you don't dare to ask for help. But this card is saying, like, ask for help. uh, to me at least, it says ask for help, because you will be surprised to see how many people want to help you. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask for help. I will pull another card, and it says frozen. There may be a hiring freeze or no new work now. Being aloof can leave you out in the cold. A warm follow-up gets you in the door. So again, it's very specific. I feel like this is, I'm not too sure if it's related to anything, but if you're looking for a new job, maybe it's not the right time for now. Keep working, like I said, like, keep working on your dreams, and keep balancing things out. Maybe it's not, that's why this night is here, is to be patient, because maybe now is not the right time, but it's coming. Okay, so a warm follow-up gets you in the door. So that's the message for this deck. Then I will ask the animals what they want to say to you. So let's have a look. And also with this deck, if you see the animal, on TV, in a drawing, while you scroll on social media, whatever it can be, it's a reminder to mentally come back to this reading, and remember what this reading say, and the message that were portrayed in this reading. But also, if you want to come back and rewatch the reading, there is no counter indication that you cannot do that. And the message is starfish spirits. Starfish spirits. So again, if you see this animal on TV, whatever it can be, it's a reminder to come back to this reading mentally and to remember what's been said. But it says open to infinite possibilities. So again, there's a notion of you having to stay open to everything that can happen now that you're kind of moving out from the grieving period, and don't stay. To me, it's also don't stay stuck in only one way of doing things. Okay, you may have to think about outside the box and think about different ways of doing things. Like I told you before, like with this card, maybe we need to think about what what made us happy when we were kids that we need to bring back into our life. That's the kind of energy that is here. But I also feel like there is some opportunities that are going to be presented to you that are going to open new doors to you. So you need to pay attention to opportunities as well. So that's for the animals. And now I'm going to pull a card from the angels. So what I want you to do is to think about a question in your mind, and I will pull one card from this deck, and the answer will be from of your question. So it could be yes, it could be no, it could be later, it could be not now, it could be, think about different things, whatever it can be. But think of a question. You can pause the video, think of a question that you want to ask. I will shuffle the deck 3 times again, so you have time to think of your question, and then the answer will come out. So let's see what the angels have to say to you. It's in French, by the way, this deck, but I will translate. So don't be surprised you see French words. But the answer to your question is communicate clearly. So I feel like you need to communicate clearly what you want from life. And again, I think like you need to communicate clearly that you may need some help sometimes. But yeah, whatever your question was, is communicate clearly. So you need to express what you feel and what you want. But yeah, that was the reading for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you liked this reading and if it resonates with you, let me know in a comment. If you liked it, please like. And if you like this kind of reading, just subscribe because, it will happen more and more on the channel. So thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye bye. Hello, so if you've chosen the Merkaba here, the Amethyst Merkaba, this is going to be your reading. So just before we start, I will also do 3 little sounds to call in spirit and to clear the space, to clear the energy from the previous readings. But yeah, if you're sensible to sound, I would advise you to lower the volume down or to skip it to the reading when the reading starts. But yeah, let's go ahead and I will make 3 little sounds to call in spirit. Okay, so this is going to be your reading. I will shuffle the deck 3 times. While I shuffle the cards, if you can think of your situation, anything you want to know, any answers you want to know from the reading, I will pull 3 columns. So one will be the past, the future, the present, and the future. So we have a vision of what happened, what is currently happening, the energy that you currently have, and then the future was coming towards you. But yeah, I will shuffle the deck 3 times. I will cut the pile in 3, and then we'll go ahead with the reading. So let's see what the cards have to say to you. Okay, so first row in the past, you have the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles speaks about work. So I see that you've been working towards something, creating maybe your own business, anything like this. Is someone that is working hard to become the master of his craft. So you've been putting the work, you've been doing something. I'm not sure about what it is, but I feel like you are changing your life completely. Okay, so it could be work on yourself, or it could be work on doing something else than what you've been doing so far. So I feel like it's more, to me, it feels more related to some kind of work that you're trying to live, or business that you're trying to live, or working towards something, some kind of dream or whatever. But whatever you've been doing, you've been working on it. Okay, it's been your point of focus. You've been, doing extra hours. You've been doing a lot of things to. You've been learning a lot as well to become the master of your craft. So it could be anything. It could be, becoming the master of, building, shoes, for example. Here we see in the image. So it could be this, but I feel like you learning a lot and you working very hard. I feel like there's this aspect of you working very hard to build something else for you, to build a different life. And I say that because of the other cards, but there's this aspects of you working towards a different life. Okay, and you're working hard. It's not like the Eight of Pentacles is someone that is working hard, is focused on his work, is focused on what he wants to achieve. He has a goal in mind, and he will not stop until this is achieved. This is the kind of energy there. It's just like you are in your little studio doing whatever for hours and hours and hours, almost to the point where you don't see the time pass, and you forget to eat sometimes because you're working towards this. And it's something that you like, it's something that you're passionate about, but it's also something that is going to help you to build a better life and build a different life. I feel like you're trying to escape your current life. And I'm saying that because of the other cards, like I said. In the other cards, we have the Eight of Cups. So first of all, we have two eights. So 8 8, look at angel numbers on Google and type 8 8 to see what the message is for you there. But Eight of Cups is someone that is moving away. Like I said, like you're trying to move away from your current life. They are moving away from a life that is not representative of them. So they could have everything. You could have the perfect job, you could have the perfect house, you could have the perfect life, from the outside. Everyone could like is jealous of you because you have everything to be happy, but you're not happy anymore. Because the Eight of Cups is related to emotions, is basically saying like you're not happy anymore. And this person is leaving because they're not happy anymore. So yes, maybe physically, materially speaking, or even emotionally speaking, from the outside it could look perfect, but it's not you anymore, and it doesn't make you happy anymore. It's not who you are anymore. So you losing a little bit of your soul every time you think about staying in this situation. Okay, so this person has decided to move away. It doesn't matter, I have everything maybe, but it's not me anymore, it's not representative of me anymore, so I'm leaving. Okay, and this person, yeah, is decided to start a new life, and they are working towards something that is the sun here in this card. And it's basically a meaning that you are moving towards something better. Okay, so whatever the choice is, like I told you, you're trying to build a better life and you're working towards it. And I feel like you are doing this and you are going to reach the better life. It's not gonna be easy, because I can tell you here from the other cards, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be true. You're going to reach what you want. Okay, and I also say that because you have the Death card. So the Death card, everyone is worried about the Death card, but it's one of the best cards. So the Death card, I usually call it the Rebirth card as well. So like I told you, you're not the same person, and there is a part of you that is being reborn. So you are either working on this personality trait that is the new you, and you're moving away from the old you, or it's just waiting for it to come out. Okay, and you're just working on a project to build your better life, but also emotionally you feel like you're not the same person as you were before. The death card is really this energy of like not being the same person as we were before. It's a major arcana as well, so it's quite a strong energy, and that's why you decided to move away, and that's why you're working so hard, because you know deep down it's a strong energy, this one. You know deep down that you have changed. The you now is not the you that was there 2 years ago, 1 year ago, whatever. There's these aspects of you being a different person, being is the death card is the example of the caterpillar becoming a butterfly. You in the process of becoming a butterfly, but it feels like at the minute you're currently at the stage of the caterpillar or maybe the cocoon, some kind of aspects there. Maybe the cocoon is this, working on, you know a caterpillar to become a cocoon has to work a lot. But definitely there's an aspect of you moving away from your current life. It's not you anymore. You know it, you feel it, and you feel that you need to move. You need to move because otherwise you will lose your soul and you will get trapped in a circle of, misery. It's a bit extreme, but that's kind of the feeling that I have. For the present, we have the Nine of Wands, and then we have the High Priestess, and then we have the Justice. So it's good to see as well in the present. There is some aspects of you that is tired, so you need to be careful. But the Nine of Wands is a card that says like, don't give up because you are at the finish line. So yes, you are tired because maybe you've been working a lot, or maybe you've been staying in a situation that you know is not you and is draining emotionally. But this card is saying, don't give up. You're almost there. You're almost at the finish line. It's, it's almost like a race, when at the end you just like, you can't anymore. You think you can't anymore, but then you push just a little bit, and at the end you finish, you're at the finish line. It's the kind of this energy that is there. So, and there's also an aspect of, because it's the wand suit, there's an aspect of passion as well. So either you need to find a passion for you to move, to keep moving, or the thing that is keeping you moving is your passion. And you've been patient and you've been working hard and you're feeling like you're giving up, but this card is saying, no, don't give up. It's coming. Here you're almost at the finish line. Then we have the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is the in-between world kind of card. So it's, you receive messages from, I feel like, from your intuition, from the universe, and that's why maybe you are someone becoming different from who you were, because maybe you were someone that never really believed in receiving message from the universe or all these type of things. But now the messages are coming through and you can see them, and the High Priestess is asking you to believe and to trust your intuition. Okay, but yeah, she is the person in between worlds, in between, the ethereal and the real. So there's an aspect of you here having to have a vision, but also believing in this vision and listening to the messages that you receive. So you may receive messages, well, just by being here already, but also you might receive messages from um, your angels and guides with angel numbers, for example, like I told you, 88. Maybe that there's a message for you here. Maybe you see it when you watch, you look at the time, you see 1111, all these type of things, but also through dreams. It could be through dreams as well. You receive messages, and this card is asking you to pay attention to the signs, believe your intuition, believe your gut feeling. If you know that this situation you are in is not for you anymore, trust your gut. You know better. Your gut feelings is basically your soul trying to speak to you, to be like, yes, you are right. It's not for you anymore. You need to move. So yeah, this is a very important card as well. Another major arcana. You have another two others major arcana here. So yeah, a lot of things. But it's a very good card. So trust your intuition and listen to the messages the universe is trying to send to you. And then we have the Justice card. The Justice card is a card that speaks about balance, obviously. So there's some kind of balance being restored in your life. So maybe, the fact that I told you is the finish line. Maybe there's some kind of aspects of this being quieter now, and you will be able to put balance back in your life. And it's also a card of karma. So whatever you've put out in the world is now coming to you. So if you've been putting good in the world, is going to come to you. If you've been putting bad, is going to come to you. But I feel like it's more like the work that you've been put in to try to move away from the your situation is going to be rewarded by karma. And also with the Eight of Cups, I always say to people, there's no act of self-love more important than choosing yourself. And I think like that's what you've done. And now you're going to see the results. Justice and the karma is going to help you. The universe is going to help you scaling the thing in your life, balancing the things in your life. So it's not always, you tired and not finding a solution and not, being able to escape your situation. Things are going to be balanced. Then we have, for the future, we have the Queen of Wands. Sorry, my mom called me on my phone, and because I'm filming with my phone, it just started to ring. But anyway, the Queen of Wands speaks about you being confident, being happy, and being passionate about something. So you're passionate about a new project, maybe a new job that you're trying to pursue, a new career, a new relationship, whatever it can be. It's a card that speaks about this, being confident, and it's also a card that speaks about you having so much of this, this energy of confidence that when you enter a room, people see you and people want to follow you and support you. So, with you having this dream and sharing maybe this dream of yours, people will be like, "Oh, how can I help you? How can I support you in this dream?" And this is a very good energy to have, the Queen of Wands. So I feel like you're going to embody this energy in the future. Then you have the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords speaks about us overthinking. It speaks about us creating issues that don't happen. It's creating scenarios that will never happen. So, it's this kind of overthinking. And it's this kind of like having a small problem and make it a bigger one because we overthink about it. And then it becomes so big, these problems, that we forgot it was a small problem at first, and it becomes overwhelming. So the advice that comes with this card is that you need to stop overthinking first. And if you have problems or issues, don't overthink them because you will make them bigger. But also, if they are too big for you to handle, just break them down in smaller parts and then you will be able to deal with them. Okay. So this card is saying that it's a card that says, like, don't overthink because you're only making things worse. Okay, you're only making a small problem bigger than what it is. It's not that big, it's not that big of a deal, and you shouldn't be worried, you shouldn't be scared. Okay, so this is it, like this is this lady, in this little girl in a bed, that is thinking that she's going to end up in a forest by herself with all like bats around, and it's very dark and blah blah blah. But you can see that it's like a nightmare. It's like a kind of like scenario that she's creating for herself, and that's basically the energy of this card. Is like, it's basically scenarios that you're creating for yourself in your mind. And then we have the Tower. So the Tower is usually a bad, like not a bad card. Not The Tower has bad and good cards, and like every card can be good or bad. That's what I want to say. But the Tower is a card that usually people again are scared of this card because of the implication it has. And the Tower is just saying like your world is going to completely change. But it's good because what it says is that the tower that you've built so far in your life is not good enough. So, like I told you, you're becoming a new person, you're transforming, you're becoming a butterfly, you're moving away from a life that you built for yourself, but it's not you anymore. It's basically this, it's basically, okay, I'm removing everything that I've built so far, and I'm starting to build my tower back again. Okay, so it's almost like you have to restart from fresh, and that's maybe why there's this Nine of Swords. You will be worried at some point, but you need to keep embodying the Queen of Wands that is confident that she's going to achieve what she wants to achieve. She knows where she's going, and she's going to achieve her dreams. And that's basically the message coming with this row and this card, is that yes, your tower, the life that you've built so far, is going to be maybe destroyed in a way. I don't want to use destroy because that's a strong word, but you will get rid of most of the things that you know from your previous life, and now you have to build your tower back again. But it will be a better tower because it's a tower that, first of all, is based on what you want and not what other people want. So it will be a more stable tower. And also, the tower sometimes can block the sun, and the sun, which is one of the best cards of the tarot, because it's in front of it. And now you're going to be maybe able to build a tower that incorporates the sun into it, so it will never be blocked anymore, and you will always be happy, always be confident, always have abundance of emotions, like feeling emotionally abundant, financially abundant, successful, happy, joyful, harmonious, all of this. So I feel like this is a necessary step. And yes, it could be scary, but this is a necessary step for your good. So that's the tarot reading for you guys. Now I'm going to pull cards from oracles. I will start with this deck. I will pull one or two cards depending on what it says, because I know it's very heavy focused on work, but sometimes I like to have also life messages. So we'll see what it says. Again, I will shuffle the deck three times, and then I will pull the cards. But I also want to stop for a moment and ask you, if you like this reading or if it resonates with you, to like, comment, and subscribe. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. Maybe the commenting costs you a little bit of more energy, but for the rest, it's just one or two buttons to click, one like button and one subscribe button to press. And it's done, it's free, it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps the channel grow, it helps me grow, and it helps spreading the message that maybe some people need to see. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what this oracle deck has to say. And you have authority. Clashes with the boss or challenge to your power will compel you to respond. Choose peaceful solutions if you can. Yeah, I feel like this is again very work related, but there's some kind of like there's something that is making you choose a different direction in life. But choose peaceful solutions if you can. It's just like think outside of the box and don't go into confrontation mode, and live with grace basically. I'm just going to pull another card, and it says long term, an opportunity could turn into a long term career move, or you will be asked to commit to a position in exchange for more money. So again, there's these aspects of like, don't give up whatever you want to manifest, whatever you're trying to move away from, whatever you're trying to achieve is coming to fruition, and it will be for the long term. It's a long term thing that is going to happen for you. Now I'm going to pull a card from the animals, and we'll see what the animals will have to say. Again, if this animal comes into, on TV, or you see it on a drawing, or you see it while you're scrolling on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, this is just a message from the animals to come back mentally to this reading. You can come back physically and rewatch the reading, but it's more to come back mentally to this reading and remember what's been said. But let's have a look at what message we have. And we have koala spirit, and it says spirit has a plan. So yeah, spirit has a plan, so you're not alone in this. Spirit has a plan for you, and this is why you have been feeling this urge to become a new person and to move away from the situation. It's because spirit has a plan for you, and I feel like there's something you're passionate about that needs to be explored. But definitely spirit has a plan for you, and you're not alone in this, and it will lead to long-term success. But don't fear, don't create scenarios in your head, because there is a plan behind the scenes being worked on for you. And finally, I will pull a card from this deck, which is an angel deck, and I will ask you to ask yourself a question. So you can pause the video for a second and ask yourself a question. And whatever comes out of this deck is going to be the answer of your question. So it could be yes, no, not now, maybe later, in 6 months, in a year, whatever it can be. But yeah, I will shuffle the deck 3 times, so you still have time to think of your questions. But whatever comes out of it is the only card. I'm not pulling more. And this is the answer to your question. So let's see what we have for you. And it says compromise. So it's in French, but it says compromise. And we can see the scale here again with the justice. So we have 2 cards with scales. So there may be a compromise that you have to do. And I feel like it's more a compromise about your life and changing and becoming a new person. And yeah, it might not be easy, but it's kind of like the compromise you have to do for yourself. But whatever questions you asked, this is the answer. So yeah, that's it for the reading. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. If you liked the video, please remember to like. If it resonates, please remember to let me know in the comment. I'm always interested to see how it resonates with people. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye bye.